Gia, good morning. Waking up about 6 o'clock in the morning here in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. And join me and take a look at my morning routine as I get up, start the day. Well, the first thing I see when I open my eyes is my bedroom window, and I look out the window. Is it going to be sunny, cloudy, rainy, hot, comfortable? I see this little mini favela in front of me. It's very, very small, and my brother-in-law, Elsenio, lives up there. Uh, Looks like my window needs, oh, my finger. Looks like my window needs to be washed. And then I'll look at this map of the city of Salvador in front of me, and maybe I'll think about where would I like to go today? Where would I like to take my long walk? In which neighborhood? Which I like to explore? And then, of course, by my bed, there's always a fan. Even on the coolest nights, one fan is always on me. I have two fans, but it's winter now, so just one fan is enough. And then above my head, I've got lots of statues, altars, figures, pictures, photos. I think you could tell that I am definitely a maximalist. I am not a minimalist. I like my space to be full of things that I find visually pleasing. Lots of books, of course. And there's Kitty. Hi, kitty cat. She's patiently waiting for her breakfast. Look at her. She's too cute. Look at your stretching in the morning. And on my bed, there's always a book or two because I'm a reader. I found this book in Portuguese at a used book stand, or just a seller on the street who's selling used books. I think I paid $5 or $1 for this book on being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for 5.5 years now, and it was easy for me. I do not miss meat at all. I regret that I didn't become a vegetarian much, much earlier in life, but never too late. It's much better for you and much, much, much better for the environment. There is I do have a flat screen TV. I try not to turn it on too much. I'm not much of a TV watcher, but I do like to watch the news and some documentaries on YouTube. Okay, time to stand up. Kitty cat, you ready for Daddy? What are you doing? Ready for Daddy to get up and give you some breakfast? I live by myself, but I do have a cat. What did that new Trump's new vice presidential pick say? That Democrats are childless cat owners or something like that. Well, that's what I am, a childless cat owner, Kitty, and I'm proud of it. And I'm most definitely not voting for Vance, Trump and Vance. Oh no, this childless cat person is going to vote for Kamala Harris. Yes, I'm really excited about that. And then I walk into the living room now, and I've got some shirts there on the back of the chairs drying. So I have a washing machine, but I do not have a dryer. Don't need one in the tropics. And I take a look at my plants, make sure they're all looking healthy. Looking at something fell down there. Making sure they're nice and green. Don't need water today. There's another altar with some statues of Orishas, of the Candomblé religion. In them, of course, was originally, it's a vintage altar, a Catholic altar, but I, of course, am irreligious, and I've turned it into a Candomblé altar. And let me put this back up. This is a Candomblé. Whoops. This is a object used in Candomblé rituals that I bought at a market. Look out the window. You see, my street is not a favela. It's just an ordinary street, but there is a favela, which means, favela literally means slum, but I don't consider them slums. They're very lively, human places, and I'm not afraid to go up there at all. There is another Orisha statue of Oshun, the goddess Oshun. And now I'm going to walk into the kitchen and make myself a much needed cup of coffee. Oh boy, my sink, and Kitty's coming up here to join me. She's saying, "Where's my breakfast?" Kitty, let me put on some water to boil, and then I will give you some breakfast. Whoops. You cannot drink the water here out of the tap. You can use it for certain things, cleaning, washing dishes and stuff, but you have to buy bottled water if you don't want to get sick. So I'm going to put some water to boil. Get myself here a coffee cup. One that I got myself on the island of Morro de Sao Paulo, about 3 hours south of here. Kitty is patiently waiting. Okay, Kitty, let me get you some cat food. Kitty's going to get some little Whiskas. Now, I do feed her a good quality dry food, but, I like to spoil Kitty. So she does get wet food too. Not a whole packet. I'll just give her a part of the packet. Kitty was a street cat. I found her. She was living at a nursery, plant nursery, and I'd gone there to buy plants, and there was Kitty. She was a tiny, tiny kitten, weren't you? And the owner asked me, hey, I picked her up to pet her, and the owner said, hey, would you like to take this kitten home? And I said, yeah. So I've had her for 2.5 years now. Here, Kitty, let me get you your food. Here we go. Just a little bit. There you go, Kitty. There she goes. There's your breakfast. And then I'll put this packet in the refrigerator, and I'll give her the rest later in the day. Sometimes she eats a lot, and sometimes she'll just take a bite or two, and then I'll leave it, because I do keep the dry food out for her 24 hours a day. She always has access to food and water. And I can't leave this wet cat food out because it's gets covered in ants very quickly. The dry food down here, I've got it on sitting in a plate of water like a moat, so that the ants can't get to it. Otherwise, it would be swarming with ants too. Life in the tropics. And now let me find some coffee. Despite the fact that Brazil is famous for its coffee, I just going to have instant coffee. It's Brazilian instant coffee, but I've just never been able to be bothered with coffee makers and filters and grinding and all of that stuff. I just want my caffeine fix quick. There we go. Water's boiling now. So let's add it to the instant coffee. Oh, that's hot, that handle. There we go. And I cannot drink black coffee. I need my milk in it. So let's add some of this UHT milk. It's that kind of milk that when you buy it, it's not refrigerated. But once you open it, then you do put it in the refrigerator. When I bring it home, even before I open it, I do automatically put it in the refrigerator because it's just weird to me. Milk not being refrigerated, but it doesn't have to be. Can last, the shelf life is long. I don't know what they do to it. They zap it, microwave it, but it somehow doesn't spoil. Anyway, cheers. Now I've crawled back in bed with my cup of coffee. Let me get a sip of that. Tastes good, and I've thrown a blanket over me, a wool blanket that I bought from California, San Francisco, with me. Sometimes I sleep with the blanket on top of me, and sometimes I sleep with no blanket. It comes on and off during the night, depending on what my body temperature is. Recently I've been sleeping with it on because it is winter, as I said, which, winter doesn't mean much here in the tropics. Low 70s maybe at night. But like I said, I do keep the fan on me all night. I'm just used to it. I feel uncomfortable without the fan. And during the day too. And in the summer months, spring, summer, and fall, I keep two fans blasting on me at all times. But I put one of the fans away, and I've just got one right now. And I promise I'm going to get one of those, I don't know what they're called, sticks? Extension sticks that you attach to your cell phone so that it's easier to hold the cell phone steady while I'm filming, and I can walk around with it, and it's just allows me to extend the cell phone and keep it steady. I promise I'll get one of those this week. I just have to find one. One of the joys of being retired is that I don't have to get up and do anything in the morning. I'm free to do anything I want or do nothing if I want every single day. Do I ever get bored or lonely? No, I don't. I think I mentioned before that I am a compulsive reader, and I am a big believer that if you have a good book to read, you're never really alone or bored, because a book can transport you to many different places. So I have lots and lots of books, and I'm always finding new ones. And I found a used bookseller. I buy lots of new books too, at least I would say one a week, but I also found a used bookseller who just sells on the street, and that keeps me in supply. And then there's always a little project. I keep paints and canvases to paint on. Let's see if I can find that blue one back there is one of my paintings. I don't do it as frequently as I was doing, because since I've moved back into Salvador, I feel less motivation to paint. When I was living out in the small city about 3 hours from here, I think I was always longing to be in Salvador, so I was always had a painting that I was working on of a Salvador scene. Now that I'm back in the city, I don't need to capture it on canvas as much, but I still have the paints and the canvases when I motivated. And of course, another way I occupy my time, as you've seen in my videos, is I go for very long walks. anywhere from 2 to 4 hour long walks. And that's why sometimes when I first wake up in the morning, I look at that map that I showed you that's hanging in front of my bed of the city, and I think about what new neighborhood, what new part of the city I'd like to go explore today. There are always a few little chores or tasks I need to do here in the house, putter around. I need to wash the dishes, for example, water the plants, repot a plant, go out and buy a new plant and repot it. One of my passions and hobbies are plants, growing things. I am definitely a maximalist. I like lots of things in my house to visually stimulate me. So I sometimes like to go out and browse and find new objects to put up, altars, statues of gods, art, things like that. What else do I do? I have a cat. Not that she keeps me busy, but she keeps me grounded. There's something about the calming energy of a cat, petting a cat, feeling its presence, that's very grounding. My cat doesn't purr. She just doesn't know how to purr. But she's become affectionate. She wasn't when I first got her, and for like the first year, she tolerated being petted, but she really didn't like it. I guess she just was a homeless street kitten, and she didn't experience affection or petting, and so she just wasn't used to it. But now she's a snuggle bunny, and she sleeps right up on my bed next to me, and she likes being petted, so she's turned into a real cat companion now. If I ever do feel the need for company, my brother-in-law, Elsinio, lives almost across the street, and my sobrina, my niece, I call her my niece. She is actually technically my stepdaughter, but she's quite an adult, and she has a daughter. I go visit her and her daughter, who also live right across the street in a separate building. And I can also make the 3 to 4 hour trip out to the small city of San Antonio and visit friends and in-laws there if I'm motivated. I don't do that very frequently. But I'm very used to living alone, being alone, and most importantly, liking my own company. And that's something I've learned as I've gotten older. I don't have to fill every waking minute with seeking out company, with idle chatter. I know how to entertain myself, which is a good skill to learn. So I think I'll get up now and start my day by walking to the corner grocery store. I think it's getting close to 7 o'clock in the morning now, which is when they open. I'd like to get some yogurt. I think I need granola and maybe some guava juice. So let me start my day by running to the grocery store, and I'll see you all in another video. Thanks for joining me this morning and sharing my morning routine. Beijo, ciao.